I found your greater analysis of popular culture really entertaining, like when you would break down elections or cancel culture, like the Will Smith slap and how he apologized. And maybe you don't have any specific thoughts on this, but also I'm assuming, you have this channel where you're probably reading people's questions year after year. Do you think as a society we're getting better at being more self-aware of these things that we're all talking about? Like, do you see any trends going upwards or downwards?
Oh my gosh, I'm sitting next to a 23-year-old who has a shadow work journal.
Well,
like
that's true.
Yeah, that's unreal.
But
We're
are
getting so
we
much better.
outliers, do you think?
Yeah, you guys are certainly outliers, and you have a huge audience that is listening to you. Like you're definitely cutting edge. California tends to be cutting edge of culture for America. America tends to be cutting edge of culture for a lot of the world. And influencers are cutting edge of all of those things. And of course, there's like different threads. There's always going to be that materialistic thread of, buy my consumer packaged good or whatever. But I'm very optimistic about what I see broadly. And I do think similarly, I think cultures have these phases of breakdown because something's not working. And I think if you look, because you can also point to all of these broader issues in our culture, issues with men and women relating to each other. They're having a harder time than ever. Young men are more conservative. Young women are more liberal. Young men are more likely to be incels and have no friends and all those sorts of things. I think while that is acutely painful in the short term, it's a part of a broader breakdown that is this way that we're doing things isn't working. And so I think it's going to be challenging and hard, and I'm very optimistic for what comes out on the other side of it. Because I think the things that work, when it's only when you're really desperate that you're willing to try ayahuasca or something like that, or a shadow work journal, or a different way of doing things. And I think we're getting increasingly desperate as a culture, which is not fun, but I think is necessary.
What do you think it would take to rekindle some of those differences between men and women?
Broadly, I'll speak personally because I've seen this in my own life. People don't respect their own shadow. So the shadow of most men is the feminine, right? And the shadow for most women is the masculine. And it's cliche, but you complain with your female friends about like, I don't know, why are boys like this? And we do the same thing. It's like, I can't fucking stand her. And they think that women should be, for instance, like less in their feelings or more logical. And I want my girlfriend to move at the faster abstract pace that I do. And she wants to go slow. Like we're looking at houses and I'm looking at these very quick. I'm like, no. She's like, she wants to go see it, feel it, touch it, get the vibe of it. I'm like, this is a waste. But I'm learning from her that she's not wrong. Like there's actually information that can be gathered when you're way more present and move at a slower pace than I want to, for instance. And I think that's not a hard masculine feminine difference, but it often is one, which is men are more abstract, logical, and women are more felt, intuitive experiencers. And so I think it is learning, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing. It's actually recognizing that men have a feminine shadow that they can come into contact with and begin to appreciate. And I started doing that when I played more, did video games, moved at a slower pace, etc. And my girlfriend, which I think is happening with women more broadly, are like entering the workplace starting in the 50s and 60s, are becoming independent, capable of providing their own containment and safety, which was never the case. They always had to have a guy do it for them. And so I think women are encountering the struggles that men have had for hundreds of years of like, oh shit, being a provider sucks. It's not fun to like pay for all these employees and not be appreciated and just have people like look at you for what more they can, those sorts of things. And I think as you have more women experiencing the masculine joys and challenges and more men experiencing the feminine joys and challenges, like, oh man, I'm crying and nobody's helping me. This sucks. There's more opportunity for healthy relating between men and women.
It's interesting because I was discussing with my friends earlier this week, and one of my guy friends was talking to me about how he feels like gender roles, at least in our age, are switching a little bit.
Yes.
Where even guys are looking for a girlfriend and they really want that, but now women are a lot more independent and choosy and focusing on themselves. So it definitely feels like both sides might at some point have more empathy for what the other gender was historically going through that could maybe lead them to converge back together.
I have that hope and I see that. And you start to see the rumblings of it with women that have like heavily focused on their careers and gotten to their late 30s, early 40s and are like, oh shit, I feel like I've missed out on something. It's like, yeah, like a lot of men, even if they have kids who have spent all their time in the office, have been feeling that. And so hopefully if we learn from one another and can read the tea leaves, if you will, of like what other people are experiencing, we'll see, okay, there's a way to have this union that works better than it did in the past. And I think one of the things that I think is broadly happening is the masculine was like really heavily held by males and men. It was like, we're going to fight the wars, go out and protect, earn money. We're not going to take care of any of the decorations, any of the feelings, or any of the child rearing. Like, that's just, I don't know how to, a lot of men like took pride in never having changed a diaper.
Mm-hmm.
Women are like, we're not going to learn how to make any money. We're not going to know how to do anything. So we're not even, and this wasn't by choice, but they weren't even voting. We're like, we're not involved in civic duty, but we are going to be completely in charge of the household, completely in charge of the feelings, all of the child rearing, all that kind of stuff. So that was historically how we had to do it, I think, given the difficulty of just living in a pre-industrial age world. It's really hard. So you have this division of labor. I think now there's an opportunity for people to be more fully integrated in themselves and then have pairings where it's like, if I have a kid, can change the diaper and can do some of the child rearing and can be there for the emotional stuff. And my girlfriend or wife, if we do that, like can provide financially. And she is, she's in, I'll just give you an example that was never available. She's doing a fairly maternal job, which is cat rescue, but she shares her stuff on Instagram and she's capable of making brand deals and providing money to the family. That wasn't available. Like you couldn't get paid for motherly love 20 years ago. It just didn't exist. And now there's these new opportunities. So I'm personally in my relationship hopeful. I hope that it's a cutting edge example of what more people are going to get to experience. Though you don't have to. If you want a traditional masculine feminine, go knock yourself out.
I'm curious. I'm not obviously relationship expert, so I don't know any stats on this, but I'd be curious if we were to look at number of divorces. And I would assume that with people now taking more time, for example, women being more masculine and having more independence, that means that they will look for a relationship later, which is, yes, they delay it, but I would also assume that that means when they do get one and when they do get married, rather than in the past when it's like the pressure to get married right away and have kids, you sometimes don't end up with the right person. There's more divorces. Now when they do settle, they're right away with the right person. So I'm curious if there's any things that
I've looked
numbers.
into those stats.
What are the stats?
There are lower divorce rates for people who get together in their 30s, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good sign for society.
And it's also, the first time in human history, particularly for women, but also for men, where there's the least amount of pressure to be with another person. So if you're making that conscious choice, you're way more likely to be a good fit for each other than ever before. And to have such luxury and freedom over one of your biggest life decisions, I think is just something that we should not take for granted and realize like how special of a time to be alive that we get to make that choice.
Well said. I mean, it's a tremendous privilege and a responsibility. Like if you look at pairing 100, 200, 500 years ago, was an economic decision decided by someone else is the only person you're ever going to sleep with. And you guys need each other. This isn't like, do we love each other? This is, we need each other in order to survive. The blessing is that we no longer have that. We've been able to provide these needs in other ways. And the responsibility is, okay, how are we going to relate to each other when we're not just bound to one another in this way? Can we do it from a place of exploration, wanting, desire, and love rather than necessity, I think. So if you're interested in the fastest way that I know of to make this stuff effortless, you might be interested in my course, Charisma University. You get full details at the link here, but basically, if you like the YouTube channel and charisma, confidence, building respect is a priority for you, I highly encourage you to click the link, check it out, learn more, and maybe join. Either way, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.